My name is Ray. Welcome back to another episode of Ray's Economics Clue Book. Today, we're talking about money neutrality in the long run and look at money neutrality in the form of the ADS model and the money demand supply liquidity preference model. So let's look at how monetary policy is neutral theoretically in the long run. And so let's say the Fed lowers their interest rates through its different tactics, perhaps lowering discount rate, increase in money supply, things like that. They lower the interest rate subsequently. When they lower the interest rate, what happens is in the short run, and we see here, number one, in the short run, our aggregate demand shifts to the right. Why? Because our investment spending increases with a decrease in our interest rate, which causes our output, our real GDP, to increase, and also causes an increase in consumer spending. And so in the short run, a decrease in interest rate as monetary policy from the Fed, we see here number one, it shifts our aggregate demand right, and it shifts our real output. It increases, and it also increases our aggregate price level. However, in the long run, we see that wages are not sticky, and so in the long run, as prices increases and as we see increase in output and price, laborers will demand higher wages because they need higher wages to pay off higher prices because our price level increased. And so increase in wages, of course, shifts our short-run aggregate supply to the left. And so in the long run, our short-run aggregate supply shifts to the left to counter our increase in real GDP. And so our real GDP in the long run shifts back to what it originally was before monetary policy took place. So in the long run, real GDP, real output does not change. However, our price level continues to increase. And so we see here monetary policy, we see why it is neutral in the long run on the ADS model. Because in the long run, what happens is that our real GDP does not change, but our price level increases drastically. And we see the long run is represented here, number two shift, as short-run aggregate supply shifts to the left. So how does this look on the liquidity preference model, on the money demand supply model? Well, we see here, we have number one, our first shift is our short-run shift, and our second shift is our long-run effect of monetary policy. So let's say the Fed controls the U.S. money supply. So let's say the Fed, through open market operations, increases our money supply. This is our short-run shift, number one. As the money supply shifts to the right, we see here on the same original money demand curve, we see our interest rate decrease from E to E slash. And so our interest rate decreases, and then we previously talked about an ADS model. This causes an increase in aggregate demand in the short run, and an increase in real GDP in the short run, and also an increase in price level. That's important because the short-run increase in price level from a decrease in the interest rate and an increase in the aggregate demand causes the same goods to cost more than they used to cost before. And as our prices increase, we need more money, more cash to buy the same thing we needed to buy before. And so consumers or individuals in the economy will demand more money because they need more money to buy the same things since they are more expensive. So in the long run, our second shift is our monetary demand shifts to the right as well. And so this counters the effect of our decrease in interest rate because we go from E slash to E double slash. Our interest rate returns back to its original level, and see in the long run our monetary policy is neutral. Money is neutral because our interest rate remains unchanged. Only our monetary supply is increased. Nothing else changes. So what we're getting here with monetary neutrality is that a change in money supply is proportional with a change in price level, and that's what it mainly only affects in the long run. So in the long run, change in money supply only changes the price level. However, changes in the money supply in the long run have no real shifts on the economy, and no real effects on the economy. So no effects on real GDP, no effects on real consumption, no effect on unemployment rate, because these are all adjusted for or not affected by our price level. And our price level is the only thing that is affected in the long run by monetary policy. So our long run, we only see money affecting the price level and not anything else. So our nominal GDP and nominal consumption increases because our price level increases or decreases with our change in monetary policy, but the real values do not change. So this leads to our classical quantitative theory of money in an endogenous economy. Endogenous meaning that we theoretically have no outside influences, no outside trade, savings, etc. And so in an endogenous money system, the classical quantitative theory of money states that our money supply, size of money supply, times V, velocity of money, which means how fast money changes hands, or how fast money is spent in a given period of time. So like how many transactions a dollar goes to in a certain period of time. Our velocity times our money supply equals our nominal GDP, which is our price level, nominal price level, times our real output in the economy. And so Y is our real GDP, and P times Y is our nominal GDP. Now, theoretically, if in the classical quantitative theory of money, we were to hold V constant, and subsequently this would cause, we would assume that Y is also held constant, then we can reach our original conclusion we reached in the last slide, where a change in monetary supply is proportional with a change in price level. And so we once again reached that delta M equals delta M is proportional of delta P, if we were to hold V constant and subsequently Y constant. And so this leads to our original conclusion in classical quantitative theory of money. So for our final clues, we see that classical macroeconomics shows that monetary policy and money is neutral in the long run. In the long run, it does not affect our real GDP or real production or any of that. It only affects our price level. And so our quantitative theory of money is only fits theoretically in an endogenous economy, about any outside savings, outside investments, or outside trade, most of all. And so from this, we can see that theoretically monetary policy is neutral in the long run. So thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.